Welcome to another video. Listen, Linda. This is one of my favorite topics, so you're going to need to come on all the way and get your paper and pen. This video is lead generation for realtors, what it is, what it isn't, and how to do it right. I love talking about lead generation because it's the engine to your business. It's how we get the money. So make sure you're tuned in. I'm going to give you some points that you need to follow, and I'm going to give you some things that's going to change your life and make lead generation fun and a lot easier for you. So tune in, subscribe, even share this video if you feel like it's going to benefit somebody else. Hey guys, my name is Cheezette Cowan. I am the CEO of Real Estate. I'm going to claim that I'm your next real estate coach. I help realtors become the CEO of their business and build a business that funds, not runs their life. I am going to talk to you about a topic that is near and dear to every realtor's heart. Every realtor talks about it all the time, and that is lead generation. I want you to understand there's a fundamental principle that we have to get in order where lead generation is concerned, and that is understanding that leads generation is information gathering. Leads are not people. You're collecting information, not souls. If your lead gen pretty much looks like random posts, praying for DMs, calling random, that's the weather. That's not how you build a machine. So we're going to talk about what lead generation is and what it isn't to get started. So let's talk about what lead generation is. I feel like a lot of people don't have an understanding of what lead generation is, and that's why they struggle. Lead generation is not collecting souls, it is collecting information. I'm going to give you a definition for lead generation. It is systematic information gathering about people with real estate intent, timing, then moving that info through stages until it becomes appointment and contracts. I'm going to say that again. It's systematic information gathering. If you had to break it down into something short, real estate lead generation is systematic information gathering about people with the intention of understanding their real estate timing, then moving them through stages until they are ready or become appointments or contracts. What real estate lead generation is not. It is not begging. It is not spamming. It is not throwing content into a void and hoping that somebody calls you. It is creating intentional conversations that convert, using tags to record timelines and next steps. It isn't done in a vacuum. It isn't done in a blast. It isn't done on vibes. And it isn't done on I'll remember to follow up. It is a systematic structure. If your lead generation is not systematic, you're not lead generating. And you guys know that for me, a lot of the things that I've learned in real estate, I've learned from the MREA. And the MREA principle is you have to build a database. You have to feed it daily and you have to communicate with it systematically. I'm going to say that again. Build a database, feed it daily, communicate with it systematically. What goes in this database? The information you're gathering during lead generation. See, a lot of people think lead generation is selling. When I lead generate, I'm not trying to sell anyone. And if you are, stop it. These are people. These are their lives. One fundamental principle I need you to understand when it comes to lead generation, and please hear me because this will deliver you from labor. It will deliver you from toil. It will set you free. You know how the Bible says the truth will set you free? This is the truth. It's true indeed, and it will set you free. If you don't get anything else I say in this video, get this. People only buy houses when their life needs call for it. Let me give you some examples. They're getting married. They're getting a divorce. They're having a baby. They got a promotion. They want to upsize. They want to downsize. They're relocating. Those are the events that make people buy real estate. The purpose of lead generation is to get into relationship with people so that when those events happen in their life, you are the obvious choice to buy, sell, or invest with. Other reasons, could be they want to invest. They want to divest, meaning pull the equity out of their house. There's a lot of life reasons, but nobody is buying or selling a house because you call them, you say the right thing. That's why this is not a hustle. That's why this has to be systematic. That's why it has to have a database to support it, because I have to understand, if it's systematic, what I'm looking for, what I'm asking. And this is why the database is your business, because it supports your lead generation efforts. All of the information that you gather with people when you're talking to them, your database houses it. That's where your contacts go. That's where you tag them. That's where you stay in purposeful connection with them. And here's what I mean. I had a young woman in my database, and I haven't even gotten into content yet. I had a young woman in my database. We hadn't talked in a while. I called her. She's like, "Oh, I've been dating this guy. I think he's gonna propose." I'm like, "Oh, okay. When people get married, they buy houses." I said, "When you think he's gonna propose?" And she said, "My birthday is next month, and he's been asking all these questions." I set a reminder to follow up with her in 30 days. Why? Because now I'm deepening the relationship, because I know when people get married, they buy houses. So when she got engaged, about 3 months later, because I followed up with her every 30 days, like, "Hey, how's the wedding planning going?" "Oh, we decided to have a quick wedding. We're not going to go on a honeymoon." "Why are you not going on a honeymoon?" "Well, we just decided we wanted to save finances, and we're blending our lives together." "Have you thought about where you're going to live?" See how that question just, see that the conversation, the relationship. I already knew the timeline because I know the events, why people buy houses. See, we get frustrated in lead generation because we're expecting people to sell or buy or invest on our timeline. They're not. Nobody buys and sells or invests in a house until it makes sense life-wise for them. While we're waiting for that to happen, our database allows us to stay in systematic, purposeful communication. So we're going to talk a lot about database. Database is the engine to your lead generation. And consistency in your database, and a single database, will outperform everything. Don't have notes here. Don't have notes in your phone, post-its. Systematic means every time I talk to somebody, all the information I gather when talking to them goes in my database. It means that I'm setting a schedule. Am I going to follow them every 30, 60, 90 days? Am I going to send them newsletters? I'm intentional about how I communicate with the people in my database, because that is lead follow-up. See, getting the information and putting them in your database is lead generation, because it's systematic gathering of information and it's systematic building of relationship. But then now the follow-up is they're in my database and I start to build a relationship with them. So the database now becomes the engine to lead generation. What goes in the engine? As much information as you can. What is their name? What is their preferred method of communication? What is their connecting source? How did you meet them? What is their timeline? Who is the decision makers? What is their budget, price, location, top 2 fears? You're going to use tags in your database. Are they a sphere, meaning somebody you know? Are they somebody you're nurturing? Are they somebody that's hot? Are they somebody you met? Are they somebody that you haven't met? See, when you start to get meticulous about your lead generation, you also simultaneously have to get meticulous about your database. I have a course, I'm going to link it here. It's Database to Data Bank. If you are serious about lead generation, you need to know how to build a database and how to consistently execute on a database system or a database model. So if this is something that you're interested in, you can definitely take that. You can find it on any of my links as well. But understanding that pipeline stages, meaning, are they engaged? Did you set an appointment? Did you meet them? Did you sign a contract? Did you close them? Are they a past client? No one person should skip any stage. So if you met them, the next stage should be nurture. The next stage after nurture should be appointment. The next stage after appointment should be met, because you should have met them now, or you know them now. Then it should be signed. Then it should be under contract. Then it should be closed. Then it should be past client. And we duplicate that when they go for the next house. This is why understanding how to execute a database strategy is everything. If you go back and look at my videos on YouTube, I'm sure I have some videos with there about database and how to manage that. However, if you want something a little bit more intense, because this database to database class is intense. It's intense. When I was teaching it was intense, but I'm so passionate about it because it is the engine to my lead generation. Okay, so here's the rule of thumb. The fortune is in the follow-up. We know this. Most people won't convert on the first contact. That's just stats. We know that in real estate, most of the time when you're talking to somebody, they're not going to convert on day one. If they don't convert on day one, what is your follow-up strategy? That has to be within your database. How you follow up with them is you offer value in exchange for more information. Meaning, I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give you something of value. It could be a newsletter where I'm giving you value in a newsletter. It could be a freebie, a lead magnet, like a home equity guide or something. However, I'm going to give you something of value so that I can stay in contact and give you and get more information from you. So you also have to be able to, in your database, develop a cadence of follow-up. So for example, let's just categorize new leads. You can get a paper and pen. I'll go through this with you now. New lead. You want to create what's called an 8x8, meaning you want to take week 1, week 2, week 3, 8 touches in 8 weeks. Map out what those touches are. So week 1 is going to be a quick text. Week 2 is going to be a value proposition email. Week 3 could be a phone call. Week 4 could be another email. Week 5 could be a text. Week 6 could be an introduction to a lender or somebody that adds value to them. And week 8 could be just a follow-up call. So now you have a system for how every new lead gets treated in your database, and what you systematize, you can eventually grow. You want to understand that consistency compounds. You want to give as much value as you can, micro guides like a buyer roadmap, a prep checklist, a spring cleaning checklist. Go to ChatGPT and say, what are some things that I can give my buyers and sellers for value? ChatGPT will lay it all out, design it for you and everything. Don't worry about it. So then you want to make sure that once you get these people in your database, you're adding value, but you also want to make sure that you're consistently delivering that value. I think the travesty is people put people in a database and they don't communicate with them enough. So you want to be able to go through every lead and consistently and strategically move them to the next steps by having real conversations with them. Check in with them. If somebody went into your database today and you talked to them and they said, I'm not ready to buy a home for a year. Okay. So in that year, you have an opportunity to educate them every month on what it means to be a home buyer. You could educate them on taxes, insurance. In Florida, we have CDDs. Make an email about what CDDs are. And then on the third month, you call them, hey, just checking in. Want to make sure you got my value proposition. Want to make sure that I'm answering any questions. I know you're a year out or 9 months out now from buying a home, but is there any questions you have that's pressing? Are the interest rates scaring you? See, now you are solidifying your place as a person of value in their life, so that now when that year comes, who else are they going to call? Because you've been right here with them along the way. Remember, most people are not going to convert on time one. If they don't convert on time one, what is your follow-up strategy? So this is why you have weekly check-ins with your database. How many agreements do I have signed? How many people are in nurture? How many people are in hot? How many people are 30, 60, 90 days out? That's how you start to plan your income. Because if I knew I had somebody that was a year out this time last year, that means they're getting ready to become hot. They're getting ready to become opportunity for me now in the next 30, 60, 90 days. So I want to make sure that I'm checking everything and not allowing anything to fall through the cracks. Make sure that you touch your sphere and past clients a little more and a little differently. So make it a little more personalized with them because they know you, they've done business with you. Maybe talk about your fears with them. Whereas you may be more general with people that you don't have that level of relationship with. But I'm telling you, you can use anything from sharing open houses, sharing community events. I know somebody that has a full database where she just gives them information on open houses in the Tampa area. She picks 5 open houses and she tells them what she thinks of the house. But guess what? They're getting consistently touched by her. So you want to make sure that you have really put some thought into what the follow-up looks like, because the conversion from lead generation typically is going to be in 30, 60, 90 days. Let's talk about metrics. Like, how do you track things in your database? You want to track the number of conversations you have per day. I'd say that all the time. From the conversation, you want to track the number of appointments set. If you're talking to 20 people and you set 2 appointments, then that means you have a conversion rate of 10%. That's pretty decent, believe it or not. And you can start to know that for every 20 people, I'm going to set 2 appointments. So if I want to set 4 appointments, then I need to talk to 40 people. You can start to build your structure in your business around that. Then you want to track appointments set to appointments kept. How many times did you set appointments and people actually kept them? And here's why that's important. I always believe that data helps you make decisions. So if I set in a year 30 appointments and only 10 were actual appointments, then that means I'm not pre-qualifying them well. Either they're not a right fit or I haven't asked the right questions. Either way, I need to do some troubleshooting before I go on the next appointment, because data is going to help you diagnose the problem and make decisions. It's important when you start looking at lead generation that you start to really look at it as almost like a funnel. Like they come into, like you meet them, you get information, they come into your funnel. The funnel is your database. And we're going to use funnel for lack of a better word because I can't think of one right now. If they're going to stay in your funnel for 365 days before they convert, how are you going to communicate with them for 365 days? At KW, we have what's called a 33 touch. So the same way I told you to map out those 8x8 touches, we map out 33 touches. Let me map it out for you real quick. This is how much back. See, this is why, okay, sidebar, remind me, like you can, right? I want to come back at the end and talk to you about my CEO Inner Circle community, because that's going to be where you're going to get real value from me. But let's talk about this 33 touch because I don't want to lose point. Let me map out a 33 touch for you. Hopefully you got a paper and a pen. Every month you create a newsletter and send it to your entire database. That's 12 touches, because 12 months, 12 newsletters, 12 touches. That's 12 touches. Every quarter, you should have a call to people in your database every quarter. So March, June, September, December. So 12 newsletters plus 4 calls is 16 touches. Now, every other week or once a month, you can do once a month, we have what's called a My Neighborhood Nurture. That gives you an automated email about what homes are doing as far as selling in your area. So 12 newsletters, that goes out on the first week. 12 neighborhood nurtures or seller or buyer tips, whatever, that goes out on the third. That's 24 touches. When you add the calls, that's 28 touches. So now 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, that's 5 touches. Send them a TikTok, send them 2 texts, send them 2 YouTube videos that you think will help add value to them. Map that out over the course of the year. Put it in your automation section of your database. In Command, which is our database, we call them smart plans. Map it out, get it done, get all the emails done, get all the newsletter done for the year. When somebody comes in your database, they go right from the 8x8 straight to the 32. It is going to touch them when you're asleep. And what's going to happen is one day you're going to wake up, they're going to get the newsletter, and they're going to be like, Cheesette, give me a call. I want to talk to you about selling my house. That's when when that happens, baby, and that happens to me every week, right? So it is fun to set these things up systematically, but understanding that the purpose of that is because the fortune is in the follow-up. I want my follow-up to be systematic. I'm not going to remember to call people in my database. The first thing I do is start with my tasks. Why? My tasks are going to tell me who I need to touch. If you love your database the way I love my database, and this video is getting long, I did not intend for this to be this long. However, if you love your database how I love my database, you're going to start. I just put people on 33 touches and I map them out. So it might be a touch every 3 weeks. And then I get touch 1, touch 2, touch 3, touch 4, because a lot of my business is fear. And then I decide how I want to touch them. A lot of times I'm just sending them TikTok like, hey girl, I'm thinking about you. How you doing? Because I'm not trying to sell them. I'm trying to be in relationship with them so that I can know when their life is changing. This is why it's important that you add your clients on social media. How you gonna know she got a new boyfriend and she might get engaged if you don't have friends on social media? How you gonna know she got a promotion? How you gonna know her husband got fired and they might have to pull out some equity in their house? See, I had a client, her husband got fired. She posted it on Facebook. And she was like, I just know that God is going to take care of us. I called her. I said, friend, you got $100,000 in equity in your house. You want to refinance or you want to sell? She said, I could take the equity out of my house. Absolutely. Just on your income alone, you can't. See how it pays to have value to add to people, right? So let me give you some best practices. Everything goes in the database. Everything. I don't care. Every conversation. Why? Because you want to calculate the touches. So for example, I could go back and have one client. I touched her 62 times last year. She ended up buying with me. Of course she did. I touched her 62 times in a year. That's about 5 to 6 times a month. We go together now. Like, if you ain't buying a house with nobody but me. And understand that posting is not lead generation because you can't gather information. Now, posting that leads to conversations in the inbox, that's lead generation. All right, 5 takeaways, because I didn't even get to these, but I talked about them all. Database first. You got to have a database. Stages and next steps, meaning what stage are they at? Consistent touches. Talked about the 8x8 and the 32. Value-driven follow-up systematically. And inspect your database weekly to assess where you are and how you're doing. Man, I'm telling you, lead generation is just basically information, organization, and consistency. That's all it is. The reason why I do so good at lead generation, because baby, I'm here for the long haul. When they say the fortune is in the follow-up, I'm going to follow up with you. I have this thing, if you go on my database, you're going to buy a house with me. I don't care whether it's next week, next month, next year. You ain't getting out of this database without buying a house with me. All right. I talked to you guys about the database class. I'm going to put the link for that here. But I want to talk to you about something that I'm creating. If you're watching this video, it's already out by now. I have created a CEO of Real Estate Inner Circle. And that is a place where I am going to offer you daily, weekly tips, tools, free resources to run your real estate business. Because my content is more geared toward coaching clients, I don't get to share a lot of real estate tips. I was looking for an outlet. So I created this community so we can really start to have conversations about how to systematically run our business as real estate CEOs. This is a space that I am very proud of. I'm very excited of. You're going to get tons of value in that space. The link is going to be here, but there's also going to be a link on any bio that I have on any social media platform. So join us in that inner circle community, and it is free. You're also going to get exclusive access to content, and I'm going to create members only content as well. Masterminds, it's going to be a vibe. Make sure you're in there and subscribe to this channel. And if you got value out of this, share it with somebody. There are agents all over the world struggling. Don't gatekeep on information that blesses you, please. When you bless other people, you get blessed right back in return. So I will see you on the next video.